Yeah.
Hello everyone, welcome to this N8N tutorial. I'm excited to show you how to automate your workflows and connect different apps and services without writing a single line of code. Well, maybe copy pasting a few lines of code from your favorite LLM. N8N is a powerful open source workflow tool, automation tool that lets you create sophisticated automations through a visual node-based interface. Think of it as the bridge between all your favorite apps and services, whether that's Gmail, Slack, Google Sheets, databases, APIs, or hundreds of other integrations. Most notably, it is its ability to create an integration with your favorite LLM. For example, ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, and you can add them as nodes into your workflow, which makes them a lot more smarter and more powerful. So I'm gonna take you through a really simple workflow that I made today. A really simple one, just to show you what it can do, and hopefully it will spark your imagination. So I created this spreadsheet from Google Sheet where I have a product ID, a product name, feature 1, feature 2, feature 3, columns, and a description. And essentially what I want my N8N workflow to do is to write descriptions in here using just the product name and some of its features using a Gemini AI node, right? So, however, N8N isn't really that straightforward if you want to build it from scratch. There's a lot of different templates out there, but just beware. Some of them might need a lot of work and troubleshooting, but I think one of the easiest way to get started is to use something like like Claude. All right, so what I want to do here is that I'm gonna try and generate a JSON file because N8N can receive JSON files, and what I wanted to do is to generate the JSON file that I can import into my N8N so then I can start working on it. So let's start with the prompt. Forgive me for my prompting skills. So let me just try and come up with the prompt. Hopefully something that's really good that will allow it to generate the JSON code. I'm just gonna put some comma in here so that there's no chance of it getting confused. LLMs nowadays are pretty smart, but I just wanted to make sure so that I don't keep on iterating. Um, During the prep stage, I actually created a Gemini API key, and also I've set up my API keys. Well, my API key for my Google worksheet. Maybe I can show you how to do that in a separate video later on. But for now, I've set those up to make this a lot quicker. All right, so right now it's just going through it. I might have forgotten to set up the proper model, but I think it should be able to figure this out. So it's now just working through the work package. Okay, so I'm trying to figure out if it created the JSON file. Oh, maybe I did not ask it to generate a JSON file. So let me try and ask it that. I think it's also important to tell it the N8N version, because N8N changes a lot, and the community is very active. So it's important that it creates the proper JSON file format. Let's see if it can figure this out. All right. So, although there's some code in here, which is basically just the JSON file, up until this point, I haven't touched any code or done any code. So, what you can do is copy or download this JSON file and import it into your N8N workflow. All right. So I'm just going to edit that in my other screen. And let's go into the N8N workflow. And before we get started, you can do a trial on N8N, but you can also host this on your local server. There's a community version, but I'm on trial right now just for this specific tutorial. Okay, so before we get started, you should, like what I said earlier, you should set up your APIs so you can access your Google Sheets, and you can also go to Google Cloud Console, Google Cloud Platform Console, to set up your Gemini API keys. So I've set them up here, right? So let's go into a workflow, and then let's click Create Workflow, and let's import from File. Okay. Let me just import it. So I've put it in the tutorial .json. I did it earlier. Anyway, let me take you through this. Now I got my product description here, and I've set up, so this is basically what we generated from Claude LLM, and we just imported it. So it created a few nodes, as you can see. So let's just tidy this up, just like that. So this read sheets node basically is a node that you can add. Let me just adjust the window from N8N, where you can do something like this, and then this is basically the node, and you can get it pre-configured with however you want it configured, right? So in this case, it's configured to read sheets, and you can rename these. And from this, I selected my my API credential, so then it can read from it, and then from the document, from this list, it will automatically pre-populate what I have in my Google Drive. So my Google Drive is fairly empty, and then I just wanted to load sheet 1, basically sheet 1, right? So there's only one sheet. So it's a get rows big operation, because I just want to read from this specific file. And then it also, before we go on to the next node, let's take a look at the other similar node, which is the update node. The purpose of this node is to basically update the descriptions part here, but I want to make sure that it can connect to my Google Sheets API. So just making sure that that's all configured. We're going to go back to this later. And then this is the generate prompt node, which is basically the JavaScript that it created. So then it will it will prompt the AI to write a description for each of the product, taking input from feature 1, feature 2, and feature 3. And also it said to make it informative and persuasive in a neutral brand tone. And as you would imagine, this particular example is it can be useful if you are someone who runs an e-commerce business selling in Amazon or Etsy, for example, and you want to automate some product listings description. Obviously, you can also fully automate that, but this is just a short tutorial, right? So for settings, you don't need to do anything. So let's just click back. Now, the most interesting part here is the AI agent. So in this AI agent, normally you wanna the default interface is a chat trigger node. So basically what that means is that you're exposing the agent into a chat interface, but in this case we just want it to read from the spreadsheet. So then instead of the prompt, we're just taking the input from the prior node, which is this one. And then this specific agent node, you can select what kind of model that you want to use. So in this case, I'm going to enter my Gemini API credentials, and then I can choose different types of models available from my Gemini API. So in this case, I'm using 2.5 Flash preview. It's really quick and powerful. And then at this point, there are options where you can add additional tooling for this agent node, where you can add a memory so that it retains the context. But in this particular case, we won't need that because we're just reading from a sheet as opposed to an actual person talking to it, right? So we're good at this point. And then now we go to another code node. And the reason for this code node is that, we'll go through it later. And essentially, I just wanted to re-inject the product ID into its output, so that when I get into the final node, I'm able to map the specific row that is being updated to the output of the actual AI node. I know it sounds complicated, but we will run it, and all of this will make sense. Just a quick note here that this is set up to read the same product descriptions sample Google Sheet, and from the same sheet that we have set up in the first initial node, and then I've made it to map automatically, and then I want it to match on the product ID. So this is the one that we had to reintroduce in this node, right? So now I think we're all set up, and let's save it, and we want to try and execute it. So let's see how it goes. Now, as you can see, it's running, it's querying the Google Gemini, And if we look into the logs, it is now generating the description for each of the different product that we have. So it will iterate through 1 to 10. So far, so good. Obviously, if you want to put this into production, you have to be careful about the tokens that you are using. So luckily, the Gemini Flash is actually quite cheap to run, but yeah, you just have to be mindful of that, right? So it looks like it finished. So let me just take a look here. All right. And now that's it. Oh, I made a slight mistake because I did not configure it properly, so it created the output under the output column instead of the description, because I made this mistake earlier. All right, so that's it for our tutorial, and hope you learned something valuable today and saw the capabilities of N8N. Thank you, and that's it for now.
Yeah. 2000s groove, real smooth, from the 6 to the server racks. The vibes in the zone. Let's talk facts. Yeah. Wake up at 6, pipelines on repeat.